Well, welcome everybody into my kitchen here. And today I just really wanted to share with you a really simple preparation. It's an Ayurvedic dish. It's mostly known for breakfast, but I actually eat it any time of the day. I'll eat it for lunch, I'll eat it for dinner, and I'll have it for breakfast. What I really like about Indian cooking and Ayurvedic style cooking is that it changes, because you can change your vegetables, you can change your nuts, you can change some different things within your dish, so it'll always have a different taste to it. So today we're actually making poha. So poha is actually a rice that has been pre-cooked and it has been dried out and flattened. So I'll just show you what it looks like. It's just these really light flakes. So cooking time is almost like nothing. All is we're actually doing is we're going to rehydrate the rice and then we're going to warm it up in our dish. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure. I'm serving lunch for 2. So that means 2 handfuls in my strainer. So I just take 2 wristfuls and I put it in my strainer like this. So I've actually strained the poha and I've just ran it through cold water for quite some time because I really want to get the starch out of the rice. And then now I'll just let it drip and just let it sit there, and it will rehydrate. And that will happen while everything else is cooking. So today I'm just using really a couple of simple ingredients in our poha. I'm going to use some pine nuts. But you can use any nuts. You can use cashews, you can use walnuts, you can use pecans, almonds, whatever you'd like is fine. And I'm using Daikon radish. Daikon radish is actually a very long tubular radish. And there's different kinds. There's not much left of my Daikon here, but usually what you're wanting is you're wanting the really long and thin ones. As for the other ones, tend to be a little bit more channel blocking for your channels while you're eating. So I'm going to chop up some Daikon radish. I have a couple of carrots here that I've already peeled, and then I'll have the pine nuts. So we just need to chop that up. So I'm just gonna have chopped up my Daikon radish here. And Daikon radish is really good for the kidneys. It's a really nice kidney purifier. So it is the kind of food that you definitely want to eat during the day as opposed to in the evening, because otherwise you might be spending your time in the bathroom at night. All right, so our vegetables are actually all chopped up and ready. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use some ghee. Ghee is actually clarified butter, and it's best to use ghee. It has a lot of medicinal properties to it. And to be honest with you, I don't make it from scratch. I buy cultured, organic, non-salted butter. And then I melt it down and I clarify it. And maybe at one point we'll have a special video just for that. So what we want to do is we want to melt our ghee. And then we're going to start adding a few of our spices. And we want to make sure that those get tempered. So I'm just going to add a little bit of mustard seed. And we'll go ahead and temper that. Just want to capture that. So our mustard seeds are nicely starting to temper. They're starting to sizzle a little bit. You don't want to add, so you always add with your seeds first. Let them pop, get them really nice, the flavors popping out. And then you go by size. So you always do sort of the biggest seeds first, and then you move your way to the other seeds. And so I've just added fennel, and now I'm adding some cumin to our dish. And you'll notice things are starting to sizzle. And I'm also going to be adding some lime leaves. Now you can buy lime leaves fresh at an Indian grocery store. Most recipes call for 6 or 7 leaves, but when they have dried out, you'll want to double it in order for flavor. So we're just going to add that in. And we're almost ready to add our vegetables. So always adding your the hardest vegetables first. And being that the daikon and the carrots are about the same, we'll add them both together. And you want to make sure that your vegetables are nicely coated in your ghee and your seasoning. So we're going to let the vegetables just saute for a little bit. Turn the heat down to about medium, and we'll put the lid on and let those cook for a little bit. While those are cooking, we're going to go ahead and prepare our topping, which is going to be lime juice and cilantro. So I have a bunch of cilantro that I have washed. And a tip if you're using cilantro in cooking is that when you bring it home from the grocery store, always a really good idea to take it out of the bag and then take the little twister tie off of it and spread it out on the counter and allow that cilantro leaves to dry. Because what happens is you have it in a wet bag and it spoils a lot quicker. So always a good idea to have it dry first. So we're just going to chop our cilantro. It's just going to be our topping. And cilantro has a lot of wonderful medicinal benefits to it. People either love the taste of cilantro or they despise it. And it's because for some people it actually has a soapy taste to it. And I was one of those people, but what I have found is that through use, and I no longer have that taste in my mouth anymore. Perhaps my taste buds have gotten used to it, I don't know. But I love cilantro now. I put it almost on every dish that I have. So I've got a lime here, and we're going to go ahead and get our lime ready to cut. Always a good idea to roll your fruit, especially if it's citrus, whether it be an orange, a lemon, a grapefruit, any of those types of fruit, in order to loosen the good stuff that's going to come out of here shortly. So this is coming along really well. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add actually the pine nuts and get them a little bit toasted before we add our poha. And I'm going to add, at this point, a little bit of turmeric. Turmeric is super, super good. It's one of those superfoods, but it's always best to have it with cooking, not as a tablet, because then that gets assimilated better into the body. And so we're going to add some turmeric. I have some amazing masala that my good friend Purnima makes, and we're going to use some of that today. Smells divine. And I'm just going to turn that heat up a little bit more. It's too bad that cameras don't actually have the capability of smell, because it smells so good. And we're ready to add our poha. So as you can see, it completely rehydrated. And it kind of comes out clumpy, so we're going to go ahead and just smoosh that up a little bit. And make sure that we blend our spices in quite nicely in here. And together with the rice. And then we're just going to turn that right down to low. We're going to put the lid on for about 5 minutes and it will be ready to serve. So one of the secrets of cooking Ayurvedic food that's tri-doshic is to have all of the 6 tastes involved in it. And as our dish doesn't have any sweet, we are going to add some sweet right now. I have in my cupboard some figs, and so I'm just gonna nicely thin up, slice some figs, and we're gonna add that into our dish and just let it warm up just a little bit before we serve it. All right, so we're gonna add the chopped up figs into our dish. Just give that a nice little stir. So again, this is one of those dishes that you know, you could add different vegetables to it. You could add some broccoli, some cauliflower, some asparagus. I mean, the sky's the limit for this dish. And for those of you who are not vegetarian and you do like meat, you could cook up some chicken on the side and then dice that up and put it on top of your dish so you have a full meal. But this is a full protein meal, just so you know. And we're going to serve that up in just a few seconds and enjoy our lunch. We're ready to actually serve it up, and I have set the table. You know, eating is really important in Ayurveda. It's important to sit and enjoy your meal, not be rushed, not having any social media with you. Put those phones aside. Don't eat in front of the television. Those are all things that can add some toxins to your body, and we do not want to do that while we're eating. So it's nice to just set the table. Take the time, it takes 5 seconds to set the table to enjoy a really, really nice home-cooked meal. So we're going to add our toppings to our meal, and so that is going to be the cut cilantro that we have chopped up. I like lots of cilantro, obviously you can put less. And then we're going to put our little lime on top so that we can each squeeze our lime. Really nice to use the hands to be really tactile with our food, because these fingers actually represent all of the elements, so it's nice to actually be able to do that. And we're going to go ahead and put those down. We're ready to eat. So we have our complete finished poha meal. It's currently 1:30 in the afternoon, so we're not having it for breakfast, we are having it for lunch. And Sandra's here to join me today, and we're going to enjoy a very beautiful, delicious, simple cooking Indian Ayurvedic dish. And yeah, let's dig in, shall we?
Thank you.